Hey guys, welcome back to Melanated Truth. It's me, LaVonda Handy, licensed marriage and family therapist, and Nicola Pierre Smith, LPC, licensed professional counselor. And today we're talking about when to go to therapy.
10 reasons. That's all
10
we got.
reasons. We got 10 of them. And this list is only 10, guys. Like it goes way beyond 10 reasons, and sometimes there doesn't even have to be a reason to go.
And I want to put a disclaimer on there that this list does not have a crisis situation because you do not need it to be in crisis to see a therapist.
I told my best friend it's time to go to therapy, and she goes, well, I don't even know what to say. And I was like, tell her your friends told you to go. She goes, what? I can't.
Yeah, that's feedback.
But that's a good, like, that is helpful for one, the therapist relationship, so they can get to know you, and two, they don't care. Like, if you need support, the therapist is willing to support you there.
Yeah. Let's kick it off.
All right. So, reason number one, and because I am the licensed marriage and family therapist, this one is one of my favorites, and that's couples therapy. The number one reason why people come to couples therapy, can you guess it?
Facing a divorce situation?
No, it's so it's so simple. They'll say communication,
Ah,
just communication. And the communication can mean so many different things, and people don't realize that. And so when we're coming in, couples are saying communication, but I'm like, okay, well, what does your daily life look like? And oftentimes, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
and you know what? It's interesting, like you were saying, it's pretty obvious because communication issues are such a common issue within a relationship. And my mind went to, like, oh, facing a divorce, because it's like my own not being a couple as a therapist, like, oh, what's the thing that really lead them and not knowing the statistics.
Yeah, it's like if you're not familiar with it, you're not going to know the reason why. But most people just want support in understanding their partner. I think we come from different families, different dynamics and backgrounds and life experiences. And then we're like, okay, by the way, I'm going to spend the rest of my life potentially or already with this person. And sometimes our wires just get crossed because life happens around us and to us, and we get distracted from connecting with the person that we are um, agreeing to live with and be with.
Do you see that oftentimes it's both partners agreeing to come to couples therapy or one's leading?
I think one person always has the idea, but the
Okay.
couple that is committed to one another, both of them are willing participants. I will see sometimes that one partner will come in like, I'm not going to talk in this space. And then they talk the entire time. And I'm like, all right, we're out of time. And they're like, what? Wait, like, we're done already? And I'm like, yep, save it for next time.
Yeah, the 50 minutes to an hour goes pretty fast.
It goes fairly, fairly quickly. So, if you're a couple and you have some concerns around your communication, one, I'm going to tell you, we're probably going to talk about more than communication. Uh, but two, that is also a justified reason to come in for therapy.
Yeah, since you led with couples therapy, another one that I think about that sometimes people think it's taboo, but it's not, it's sex therapy. If people are realizing that there's some dissatisfaction or maybe it's issues having sex, that there are people who specialize in sex therapy out there who you can really get help with that, because sexual pleasure is a way of connecting with your body and connecting with someone else. And if you're having issues with that, you definitely can get help, and it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah, it's just not as simple as people make it to be. And I don't know if you've seen any TV shows, but when you see the sex therapist on TV, it's not as, it's pretty basic. And sex therapy is has a very long, extensive ideas of what it can address. So if you have any, problems having sex, if you have any trauma actually, and this can be actually our third on the list, is people entering therapy for trauma, um, past or present, but it can affect so many relationships that you can have. So that can lead back into couples therapy, that can lead into sex therapy. But a trauma that has occurred within the past or the present can actually lead you into therapy as well.
Yeah, and adding therapy as trauma as the next reason to go to therapy, it doesn't have to be a sexual trauma. It can be non-sexual, such as emotional neglect and emotional abuse in childhood. That definitely impacts the way you're connecting with someone or viewing yourself that may not be productive to the life that you want to lead. So having issues with trauma is definitely another reason to go to therapy.
Yeah. What's our fourth one on the list?
I'll go with life transitions. I know the first time when I saw a therapist, that was what led me to that fresh out of grad school, moving through a different job dynamics and thinking, you know what? I also started a new relationship at the time and thought, oh, this is a good place to start therapy, dealing with all these different transitions that I'm navigating. So that's definitely another reason to go. That doesn't involve a crisis, just that you want a professional to help you navigate all the different changes and transitions that you're adjusting to in your life.
Because it can get really heavy sometimes if you're taking on a lot, and you're exploring kind of who you are, and that leads us into the identity development, right? So you're going
Mhm.
through these life transitions, you are taking on the role of being a partner, you're taking on a role of a new position, and it's like you can get overwhelmed in those spaces of like who you are. So going to therapy for identity development can also give you a space to kind of process what's happening through those changes, and then how are you changing uh, within those changes.
Yeah, and even with your social identity, depending on the home that you grew up in, depending on the cultural background that you have, if you're coming to terms or accepting your own, whether it's gender identity or your sexual orientation, that could be something that a professional helps you through. So definitely another reason. How many do we have so far, Lavanda?
Five.
If I so let's keep them rolling. Grief and loss. We did a video on that. Definitely another reason to see a therapist if you have a relationship that ended, if you have someone in your life that was really important and they passed away and you're grieving that and not having the natural supports around you, you can definitely go to therapy to get grief counseling and support.
I appreciate how you're bringing up the natural supports, because one thing that could bring people into therapy are the family dynamics. I once again, second favorite, family therapy. A lot of times people are not sure that you can, or even in the know that you can bring your entire family into therapy. As a licensed marriage and family therapist, I oftentimes, even though I'm in the room with one person, I'm talking about the entire family at that time, because our family has so many great impacts on us of how we connect with other people in our lives, how we connect with them, and how we use our natural support systems to navigate through life, can be seen through family therapy.
Yeah, and now that you mentioned family therapy and family of origins issues, another reason people may go to therapy is for professional development. Maybe you're doing well in your career, you're doing well academically, or well as an entrepreneur, and realizing that there's this undercurrent of a narrative that you have about yourself that's affecting your self esteem and confidence. You could go to therapy for that to further strengthen your professional development.
Woo! That was some list there, Nicola. Do you think we hit them all?
I think we did. We could throw in, though I'm not sure if by my count we're at 10, but putting in like issues related to body dysmorphia or eating disorders and back to the confidence and self-esteem, how you're viewing your body is definitely another reason to go to therapy. And just like mood management, things that may be affecting your emotional expression, your emotions regulation, and just engaging with the world around you.
I appreciate you saying that, because at that moment I automatically thought about any kind of mood things, so that you triggered my thought there, and I appreciate that. So like Nicole is saying, any kind of different moods that you've been experiencing, sadness, anxiety, and even on the more higher level, if you've already had, experience with therapy or maybe a diagnosis as a child, and some of those can be talked out with your therapist, along with any type of medication management that you see fit.
Yeah.
So guys, that was our quick list of 10 reasons to go to therapy. And like we said, this is not the whole list. There are more things that can lead you to therapy. And of course, it does not have to be a crisis that leads you there, but the professionals are available. And here's just a brief list to show you what you could think about and need support for, or allow support to come in.
Yeah, if anything, think of this list as a list of 10 reasons to go to therapy to avoid getting to a crisis situation.
For sure. I like that. So, like, subscribe, comment, guys. We love hearing from you. Any questions, reach out at melanatedtruthllc@gmail.com, and we will for sure get back to you. Can't wait to see you next time. Take care.